Hey guys, welcome back to the next installment of Cooking with Reg-Reg. Today we are doing a Bolognese sauce. Yesterday when we were doing the zucchini taco boats, Trevor requested, what did he say? Authentic spaghetti sauce, pasta sauce. So this is something that I've made before, and I have a special guest helping me today. Introducing Dom the Grom. Dom is helping me. He's helped me prepare this dish before, and it involves a lot of chopping. We have a lot of veggies and things to prepare, so Dom's going to help me. And this is a recipe from ohsweetbasil.com, and I'm going to follow it pretty much as is, except for I am going to make a few substitutions, such as instead of using heavy cream, I'm using coconut milk, and instead of using real butter, I'm using Earth Balanced vegan butter so that Trevor doesn't get sick from the dairy. And I think that we're ready to begin. Oh, a few other things. I've brought out my food processor, my chopper for the onions, my garlic mincer, my knives, and then I have a big cookie sheet, big baking sheet that I've lined with foil so that when we're done roasting the tomatoes, I can just throw this away and hopefully there won't be any mess. So Dom, let's get started by washing our hands. And we're gonna pull out this guy for washing the produce. The recipe calls for 2 cups of halved tomatoes. So we wanted to do this a lot earlier today. While I was at the grocery store, we got a notice that there would be a showing. And then before I left the grocery store, we got a notice that there would be another showing. So I had exactly 15 minutes to unload the groceries and leave the house. And we've been gone for a few hours, so we didn't get to do this earlier. But ideally for a sauce like this, your goal is to let it simmer low and slow for as long as you can. A good couple of hours, 4 hours. Today we don't have that. Yesterday we featured a recipe that was kind of, as Trevor said, quick and dirty, just something we could throw down, and this was something that was meant to take longer and really make the house smell good. Okay, Dom, come here.
Yeah.
So for this, I would like to take these little tops off the tomatoes.
Mm-hmm.
And last time we made them in big chunks, but it took too long to cook. So we're gonna do them in slices about like this.
Okay.
Okay. Can you do that with these? Mm-hmm. Okay. Let me get the measuring cup. Remember to keep your fingers turned in.
Oh.
Your fingers turned in. There you go.
That feels weird.
Yeah, but it protects your fingers if something slips.
These knives look pretty sharp.
I think that tomato is all that we need. So we have some extra tomatoes. Okay. While Dominic does that, I'm going to get the onions chopped. And then just double check that recipe and make sure that I read it correctly, that it is 2 cups of sliced tomatoes. So you just want to let it there you go, like that. And when you need more oil, you can do this. I think the dog wants to go out. Okay, now Dom, what you need to do is go back and add some more pepper to the ones that didn't get it. This recipe called for a purple onion. Now, if you will read the instructions, they're on page 2 of that printout. What does it say to do with your tomatoes?
Place 2 cups of fresh tomatoes on a baking sheet and you drizzle with olive oil and salt and pepper. We just did that. Now we have to roast for 20 minutes or until soft or charred bits are appearing. But we have to put it to 425, just letting y'all know.
So you already set the oven?
Yes, the oven is set.
So now it's asking for 6 cloves of garlic. So I already have 2. Oh wait. 3. Okay, Dom, when you're cutting, you should hold the knife here. And it's okay to grip this right here. Okay, so this is where you're gonna have the most force, and you go down like that. Okay? So now we are putting the chopped garlic. It was 6 cloves of garlic. Into a bowl for later. One of the benefits of freezing leftover ingredients, the last time I made something that had a lot of, I only needed 2 stalks of celery, I bought a whole bundle of it, and I had left over, and I decided to go ahead and just wash it, chop it, and freeze it. So I made the list today, and I forgot that I needed celery. I didn't, for whatever reason, make it on my list. But luckily, I had enough in the freezer. Okay, so we need to dice these carrots. All right, Dom. Probably do 1 or 2 carrots at a time, however many you can, and then push down. Go for it.
I like doing this because it's satisfying.
the recipe also calls for zest from 1 lemon. So I have a lemon, I've already chopped the edges off, and I have this zester. And make sure you hold it the right way. And you just
Now that's satisfying.
I'm gonna try to get the yellow. You don't want to get too much into the white.
Do I have to put this in there?
Yeah. And I'm just going to rub my finger down this. So I'm going to take this lemon.
In case you all didn't know, Mary's a bit on the slow side.
That's not nice. And I'm just going to press and squeeze. I'm squeezing my hand around this cone.
I'm in the top 10% of my class.
I wonder how small that class is.
This is a juicy lemon.
Wow.
Okay, so we got lemon juice down. Don, what are the things I need to pre-measure? What is the first ingredient? 1 tablespoon of butter.
Yep.
It's just 1? Really?
This is 1 tablespoon.
Okay. What an odd place to put the measuring thingy. 1 tablespoon. It's like a tiny amount. Okay. And then 1 tablespoon of olive oil.
Yep.
Okay. So we've got the tablespoon of butter, a tablespoon of olive oil, the carrots, the celery, the onion, the garlic. Can you go outside and get the ground beef and the Italian sausage, please? The tomatoes. Okay, we've prepped. Yay, we've prepped all the ingredients. How long did that take?
27 minutes.
Okay, that's not too bad. So my question remains, what do we do if we were to get a note right now that says we have a showing? Is it better to leave it out? I think the viewers should respond. What do you think, viewers? Tell me what we should do. If we were to get a notice right now saying there's a showing, do I leave all this out and invite them to dinner, or do we put it all away and stop cooking? I don't know what to do. So tell me below what you think we should do. Okay, once we have the tomatoes roasted, then we will, be sure to wash your hands. We will start cooking the meat. So we have a pound of ground beef and a pound of Italian sausage. so I just want to check the tomatoes. They have about 2 minutes left. I don't see any charred bits, but they're roasting.
How long have you been cooking, Reg-Reg?
How long have I been cooking? For a long time. I don't know, I'm trying to think how long is a long time. I think the earliest memories I have of just being in the kitchen with my mom and my grandma and just always being around, wanting to help. And I remember when I was in probably junior high and my mom was working is when I started to volunteer to cook dinner for my family so that when my mom got home from work she didn't have to do it. And everybody ate it and liked it. So the more they liked it, the more I wanted to cook. And here we are today. I think what I'd like to do is do a little bit of broiler. Oh, good grief. That way we can get those little bits of char that we need done. Okay, so then I'll start preparing the next step. So it says in a Dutch oven over medium-high heat, add the butter and the olive oil. So then once the butter has melted, we're gonna add the carrots, the celery, and the onion. So
For those that may not know what a Dutch oven is, would you like to explain?
So I'm assuming this is a Dutch oven, just a big pot. I don't know. I obviously have no technical training, but I think this would be called a Dutch oven. I don't know. I've had it. So when I was 18, I asked my mom and dad for a really nice set of pots, and this was included in that pot. So how old am I now?
Let's not go there.
Let's not go there. I've had this.
You've had it for 3 years?
3 years. Thanks, baby. I need to check these tomatoes. I'm starting to see some char. A little bit, huh? Maybe a few more minutes. You want the char on it to give a little bit of a smoky flavor. That's why when you cook a pasta sauce like this or bolognese, you want to do it over a long period of time because the flavors need time to really build and layer and meld together. So you really shouldn't rush it, but we're here at 4:15 in a rush. I'm just switching that around.
What's the wine for?
So when I made this before, I completely omitted this milk, the milk, and I substituted the milk because it asked for milk and cream. And what I did was I substituted that with wine. The recipe asked for a dash of wine. We don't drink wine anymore, so I don't I don't buy like nice wine. I just buy these boxes so that when I need it for a recipe, I have it. Woo. Oh, some of them are charring. What I was smelling was this. Just needs a few more minutes. I'm not gonna walk away so I don't forget. You're like, please don't.
That was a big plume of smoke that came out of there.
It was just from what's on the foil pan. I think I'm going to call it on the char. Woo.
I was gonna ask you if there was something working, but I guess not.
Okay, so I'm going to let those cool a little bit, and obviously we're not going to take the ones that were a little thin and burnt, but I think we've got enough of them to give us some flavor. Okay, so then the next step is to melt over a medium-high heat the olive oil and the butter. We are cooking on a gas stovetop. Medium-high heat. We're gonna let that situate itself. What made you decide that you wanted this sauce today? You just been hungry for it? A nice meaty sauce? So my celery is still a little bit frozen, so I'm gonna let that go first. Uh-oh. I flaked carrots out. See how pretty these colors are? I love this. So I'm just gonna stir this up. So I'm going to move these tomatoes. Obviously, I did not need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, plus whatever we cut up. But again, I'm not real great at like measuring, you know, 1 tomato with 1 slice cup. So I always buy a little extra just in case. So we'll figure out what to do with these tomatoes. But this beautiful cutting board that we have, Mary made this when she was in the 7th grade in a, is it called engineering? Wood shop? I think they refer to it as some sort of engineering. But she made this cutting board for me in her class. So, always happy to see that. So it's asking for a squeeze of lemon juice. And so that I can just get myself ready to do some dishes, I'm gonna start eliminating things I don't need. I know this is way more than a squeeze, but. So it's been 5 minutes. Okay, so what I'm saying here is that these carrots are a little chunky. I should have used the smaller setting, but I didn't. And I'm gonna put this garlic in here. We just got a notification that they want to do a showing at 5. Is it okay if we ask Shelly if they can do 5:30?
We'll figure it out in a minute.
Okay, so this has got to go in here for 1 minute, basically until the garlic becomes fragrant. I mean, we're almost there. We could probably get ready to leave. So that says to do it for 1 minute and then add the ground beef and the sausage. Okay guys, so such is life when you're trying to sell a house. So we've had to quickly get our act together. Mary, is that your water?
No.
Okay, can you go in the top of our closet where I put that flower vase and bring it down, please? Be very, very careful. So Trevor's upstairs vacuuming. His cameraman days are temporarily on hold. So you guys have me for a little bit here. So the meat is almost cooked. I think my goal is to get it, everything in this pot, and leave. And then as soon as they're done, then we can put it onto a simmer. But I really need, I think we're supposed to be out of here at 5 o'clock, so it's 4:43. So what's left to add a can of fire roasted diced tomatoes, 2 cans of tomato sauce. Instead of milk and heavy cream, I'm using coconut milk. I've got 2 bay leaves, lemon juice. It says a squeeze of lemon, so I'll figure that part out. Lemon zest. I could not do this part and film it too because the kids are helping to prep for the showing, but those oven roasted tomatoes that we did earlier went into the food processor, so they made this nice tomato sauce. Thank you, tomatoes. Oh, and then I put my wine that the recipe calls for in this little convenient glass. Oh, Mary, can you please dismantle this and put it in the dishwasher? Thank you. Okay, your phone keeps going off. You might want to go check it. Yeah. Oh, that's Shelly? No. What time is the showing? 5 o'clock, okay. We gotta get rid of this stuff. Okay, checking out, guys. Okay, guys. Bolognese sauce making part 2. Mary looks really unhappy. This is our third appointment for a showing today. Hey, Dom.
Oh, you had to give me. I thought I was getting stuff out of my mouth. Really?
Okay, hang on. This is our third appointment for a showing today. Oh, I never know where to look. Okay.
Just not at me.
Hey, Dom.
Hi.
The Bolognese is resting right now. As soon as this appointment is over with, we will head back home and turn it on and let it simmer like it should. It is now 5 o'clock. Man, Trevor, we should have made appointments. I mean, we should have been making Bolognese
all this time.
every single weekend instead of being on our tiptoes, pretending like we don't live there. I went out of the house in my apron. The upside is that the house smells amazing. So I don't know. Hopefully they're Italian and they're like, oh,
You walk in and smell it.
and they're like, wow. Or maybe they're not Italian, they just love Italian food.
Yeah.
So anyway, at least they can see that it's a kitchen that is lived in. It is a kitchen that gets used and it gets cleaned very well after it's been used. And anyway, good stuff. So we're just out of the house now. The appointment time that they have is between 5 and 6. And we're just gonna drive around and see what we can do for an hour or until they're gone. All right, we'll check in later. Hey guys, it is now 5:23 on Sunday. We have had the showing, so we just got back in. And so this is what the sauce turned out to be. Now the idea is to, sorry, I'm trying to, oh crap, I hit my head. Let this simmer. It says to simmer for 2 to 3 hours or up until an entire afternoon. So we are done with showings. The sauce has been simmering for just over 2 hours now, and I'm going to make this rigatoni. In the notes from the recipe from osweetbasil.com, they mention the different types of pasta that would be good with this, and this time I thought that we would try the rigatoni. So the first thing I'm going to do is fill this pot up with water. And I'll do it till it's about 3/4 of the way full. You always want to make sure you leave enough room in your pot for your pasta to boil and have room to expand. We did get all the dishes taken care of from the sauce making portion, so that's good. I'm going to set it on high. And I'll put the lid on it so that it boils. And I'll go ahead and add salt now to the water. You don't want to add oil to the water because the oil will make the noodles slippery, and especially with this type of a sauce, you really want the sauce to stick to the pasta. So you don't want it to be slippery. So I'm going to check the sauce. We did make the carrots a little too chunky, but that's okay. And it looks good. It smells delicious. There are 2 bay leaves in here that it says to take out before serving, so I'll let this simmer while we make the pasta. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about the recipe, the substitution that I made where it asked for heavy cream and milk. I mentioned before that the last time I used wine in place of these 2 things. But this time I decided to use coconut milk. And the reason why I'm using the coconut milk is that I was talking to someone at work. He was telling me about a new kitchen remodel or in their new house, and the professional refrigerator that she got, his wife got. And I asked if she likes to cook, and he said yes, she's professionally trained. And so I was asking him if he would ask her what a good substitution would be, a non-dairy substitution would be for heavy cream for savory dishes like this, and she said to try coconut milk. So that's what we're doing, and we'll see how that goes. I need a pot holder. This is going to be hot. Okay, water is boiling. And it says we're going to stir it uncovered boil it uncovered for 8 to 10 minutes or until desired tenderness. So when you put your pasta in, you want to really get in there and stir it around for a while, because when the pasta hits the water, it starts to get a little sticky. But when you stir it for a minute or so, it helps to make it not stick to each other and kind of distributes all the whatever is happening, carbohydrates, I don't know, something. There's some reaction going on. And I do like to use the Kroger private selection pasta. I have found that they tend to cook really well, and true to the directions. So whatever the directions say, I follow it, and it comes out just the way I like it. So we'll let that sit, and I'm going to go ahead and turn off the sauce here. I'll turn the heat off, and look at that beautiful steam. To remove the bay leaves. the garlic bread. This is just a super easy frozen garlic bread. I'm gonna stick these in the oven and I leave them in for a while. I like to say until I can smell it. So I didn't hit the timer to begin with for this. And then I didn't hit it, I messed up. I didn't actually hit it the second time. So we're gonna estimate we have about 6 minutes left. I have a bowl in my sink and a strainer on top, and that's just because I'm really crazy about germs, and this way I can make sure that nothing in the sink touches the pasta. And apparently I put the bowl perfectly over the drain. Or there's a stopper in there. This here. And then I'm gonna put this over here. And I'm going to spoon some of this sauce into the rigatoni and just toss it up a little bit. And this way it coats, the sauce coats the pasta. And keep it from sticking. Let the flavors start setting in. And over here, I put out some shaved Parmesan. It's absolutely delicious when it melts onto the pasta in little sheets. And then this is good old half powder Parm. So while we wait on the garlic bread to get to where we need it to be, I'm gonna go ahead and spoon some of this out so that it cools off. This is a good Mary size portion. Dom, it's hard to tell, but I'll do this and I'll let you guys go and have a good evening. It's been a long day here in the royal house. And what am I making next? I forgot what I bought. Something good. Something good is coming soon to Cooking with Reg-Reg. Have a good night.